Hello there, I am Vasilis, the bassist and co-creator of Conspiracy of Zero, death metal and kinda proggy band or studio project if you prefer, from Thessaloniki, Greece. So the name of the band. It actually came out by itself. Back in the years we were working with Paris at our home studio, mixing and recording for other bands. So it felt like a little conspiracy when we decided to work on our stuff, in the hash hash. And then we presented it, of course. Our studio name was Zero Studios, so it came out Conspiracy of Zero Studio, you know.
Okay, so regarding this album, most of the songs started being written mostly by me as basic ideas and riffs. Then we would work together with Bill around the subject of the song, and the arrangement and the structure basically. And then the rest of the members would dive into the song and everyone would put his part. And most of the time everybody has the maximum freedom possible to express himself better through his instrument. So I'm pretty happy with that. We work this way as a team and not as individual persons.
So generally, the themes of our lyrics as a band is always the feelings that everyday people feel, ordinary people feel. So I wrote a big part of the lyrics in Ahthos Arouris, and I can say that they were a bit biographical too. I got married at that time, so big stress from there. I became a dad, so I was so happy at the same time. I got a big promotion at work, so everything was changing in my life, and I was living kinda on the edge. So uh, more or less, this is what Conspiracy of Zero are talking about their songs. They are talking about raw human feelings. For everybody who bought the album, there is a letter of appreciation that I wrote, and I explain every song and all the lyrics, or I tell a story behind how the songs were created, or some songs were created. So check it out.
There's a little bit of a funny story about how the artwork was actually made. George Koufakis, who made the artwork, or as many people know him, Geokouf, came to my place and presented a similar illustration as the final cover. And we thought about it, and it was nice. And without having a lot of lyrics written at the time, it was a bit ambitious if we're going to use it or not, and how is it going to fit well with the album. But in the end, I think it reflects nicely a great part of the lyrics of the album, and the imbalances between good and evil, or optimism and pessimism, and all of these contrasts that the lyrics of the album actually have.
Of course, a label deal is crucial, but not for bands like us because we're not cool at all. We are a very raw band musically and lyrically, so we tell truths. We also prefer to create our own stuff, write our music, record it how we like it, mix it with our own way, and this creates some kind of originality, or this experimental attitude is creating our identity. Also, we are not a tour band or a show band because this time we're talking, we are spread out around Greece and around Europe. Uh, every member of this band is somewhere. So, therefore, I think a label deal, yes, of course, it's crucial, but I don't think we could make it.
I started listening to death metal mostly in high school, if I remember correctly, through a friend who was obsessed with death at the time, and Chuck Schuldiner. And at some point I became as well. Okay, it's a hard question to answer once we don't depend on the music industry. We don't try to make our living out of the band, and therefore we have a lot of freedom in expressing ourselves through our music, through our lyrics, our notes. But if it would be one thing that I would change, it would be this genre definitions that we have, and they put so many limitations in the way that artists create music inside specific boundaries, because the genre requires this kind of thing, or the other kind of thing. That's it. Okay, it's a nice question. Once we are mostly a studio band, it's quite impossible for us to tour or to have live performances for several reasons. I can share maybe an epic failure of a recording process of the album. I remember I was trying to record clean vocals for the last song, I Feel, but I was terribly sick, and my throat was some kind of pain. So I was combining a cup of tea and a cup of whiskey at the same time in order to try to make it warm and sing. So after 5 cups of teas and 5 cups of whiskeys, I wasn't even aware of if I was on the correct notes or not. So I think that's mostly a hilarious moment. Regarding music, it's totally out of death metal, if I may say. It's around ethnic music. I've been listening a lot to a Greek guitarist called Takis Barberis. He combines a lot of jazz elements with a lot of Balkan music, and it's just amazing. And regarding movies, one great movie that I saw recently is called November. It's an Estonian movie about some middle-aged tale, a little bit of surrealism inside, or great landscapes and great shots. It's difficult to answer once I don't really follow the latest releases in the genre. I'm mostly an old school fan of the genre, with bands like Obituary, Immolation, Morbid Angel, etc. But following the releases of most of these bands, I'm pretty positive about the future of the genre staying as cool as it is. Greece is a country that it's mostly black metal and heavy metal based, meaning that probably 8 out of 10 bands that you will find will drop into one of these two genres. But still, there are quite a lot of death metal bands. There is Death Courier, there is Acid Death, and Extremity Obsession, good friends. Also in a very similar genre with us. So there are a lot of amazing bands hidden in the underground that I think it's really worth digging into it. It's human by death, by far. I remember listening to it when I was in high school, and I remember being amazed by how much I like it without actually understanding why. And gradually, I started discovering a lot of things that I was jealous about inside the album's music and the album's lyrics. The artwork is amazing. The lyrics are amazing. The songs are amazing. So it's totally my first choice. We are already writing material for our third album, and also we have finished recordings for an EP that it's going to be out soon, and you'll learn about it very soon from our social media pages. Well, I'll continue listening to death metal and support the channel. It rocks. Well, thanks a lot for the interview, and keep metal. Goodbye.